The simple ritual of breakfast, the warmth of fresh toast, the comforting aroma of coffee. For many of us, this is a moment of peace, a quiet start to the day. But what if this simple moment of comfort was a trap? What if this daily ritual, something that feels so right, was silently preparing your body for a day of weakness, not strength? Hello, I am Dr. Haruto Inoue. And if you have ever felt a sudden, heavy wave of fatigue hit you mid-morning, a mental fog that descends just when you need your clarity the most, then what we discuss today may change the way you see your breakfast forever. This is not just a part of getting older. It is a signal from your body. And I have seen this signal in my clinic for decades. Let's talk about the hidden enemy on your breakfast plate. I once had a patient, a wonderful gentleman who had worked as a skilled gardener his entire life. He would start every day with 2 slices of white toast and jam. A reward, he called it. Yet, by AM, he would feel a profound exhaustion. He told me, "Dr. Inoue, the energy just vanishes. My hands feel heavy, my mind becomes cloudy. I am too tired to even enjoy the garden I have spent a lifetime creating." He believed he was simply losing his strength to age. But the cause was not his age. It was his reward. When you eat a highly processed bread, like simple white bread, your body digests it very quickly. It is, in essence, very similar to eating pure sugar. This causes a rapid flood of glucose blood sugar into your system. Think of it like starting a fire with dry leaves. You get a big, bright flame very quickly. But just as quickly, it burns out, leaving you with nothing but cold ash. This is the sugar crash. Your body, in its wisdom, releases a hormone called insulin to manage this sudden rush of sugar. But often, especially as we get older and our system becomes more sensitive, the response is too strong. It removes too much sugar from the blood. And the result? That wave of fatigue, the mental fog, the sudden craving for another sweet snack to get another burst of energy. It is a vicious cycle that leaves you feeling drained before your day has truly begun. This gentleman, my patient, was caught in this exact cycle. His harmless toast was the source of the very weakness he feared. It wasn't a failure of his body. It was a misunderstanding of his fuel. But the most important part of his story is what happened next. By making a simple change, which we will discuss, he not only regained his morning energy, but felt a clarity he hadn't experienced in years. Before we explore the solutions, we must understand another, deeper issue that goes beyond energy. A silent fire that certain breads can fuel within our bodies. This loss of energy is only the most immediate effect. There is a quieter, more hidden process that the wrong choice of bread can encourage. A process I call the silent fire. Many of my patients, especially those over 60, tell me about a persistent stiffness in their joints. An ache in their hands or knees that they blame on the weather or a bad night's sleep. This discomfort is often a sign of chronic, low-grade inflammation. It is not the hot, sharp inflammation of an injury. It is a slow, smoldering burn, deep within your body, that can weaken your systems over years without you even knowing its source. And one of the primary triggers for this silent fire can be found, again, in the bread we eat every day. Let us talk about gluten. The word has become controversial, and I want to be very clear. Gluten is not a poison for everyone. For centuries, our ancestors have eaten grains containing gluten. But the bread on our supermarket shelves today is very different from the bread of our grandparents. The wheat has been changed to grow faster and produce a fluffier loaf. It is processed in a way that our bodies are not accustomed to. Think of the lining of your intestine as a very intelligent gatekeeper. Its job is to let nutrients pass into your bloodstream and keep harmful substances out. For some people, particularly as the body ages and becomes more sensitive, the type of gluten in modern processed wheat can irritate this gatekeeper. It can cause the barrier to become less secure, a condition some scientists call increased intestinal permeability. When this happens, particles that should not leave the gut can slip into the bloodstream. Your immune system, your body's vigilant guards, sees these particles as invaders and launches a small, but constant, defensive attack. This constant state of defense is low-grade inflammation. It is the smoldering fire. And it can manifest as joint pain, stiffness, brain fog, and that same chronic fatigue we spoke of earlier. It is your body spending its precious energy fighting a battle on the inside. And here is a trap many well-intentioned people fall into: the healthy, whole wheat bread. You choose it thinking you are doing the right thing. But many brown breads sold in plastic bags are just white flour with coloring and a little bit of bran thrown back in. They are often still high in sugar and processed in a way that can trigger this same inflammatory response. The question is not to eliminate bread entirely. The question is to choose the bread that calms the fire instead of fueling it. Fortunately, there is a traditional, ancient way of making bread that changes its very nature, turning it from a potential problem into a powerful ally for your gut. A secret that the world of industrial baking has largely forgotten. So, how do we fight this silent fire and reclaim our energy? We do not need a new invention. We need to return to an old wisdom. A wisdom that is held in a living, breathing thing. This is sourdough. Or as it is known in many traditional baking circles, bread made with a natural leaven. It may look like other breads, but it is fundamentally different. It is alive. The secret is not in the flour or the water. It is in the long, slow process of fermentation. Commercial bread uses fast-acting yeast to make a loaf rise in an hour or two. It is efficient, but it is not wise. Sourdough begins with a starter, a living culture of wild yeast and beneficial bacteria. This community of microorganisms does something remarkable when given time. Over many hours, sometimes a whole day, these helpers begin to digest the dough for you. They break down the parts of wheat that can be difficult for our bodies to handle. The gluten that can irritate the gut lining, they begin to degrade it, making it gentler on your system. This is why many people who feel discomfort from regular bread can eat true sourdough with joy. They also neutralize something called phytic acid. This compound, found in many grains, can lock up minerals and prevent your body from absorbing them. The fermentation process unlocks these minerals like magnesium for your muscles, zinc for your immune system, and iron for your energy. The bread becomes not just food, but nourishment. I often give my patients a prescription that has little to do with pills. I tell them, this week, I want you to find a local, artisanal bakery. Find a baker who loves their craft. Ask them about their sourdough. This simple act reconnects us to our food. It moves us away from the factory and back to the community. You are not just buying bread. You are investing in a tradition that has nourished healthy humans for thousands of years. You are choosing the bread that calms the silent fire and feeds the good guardians of your gut. But how can you be sure you're choosing the right bread when you are standing in the aisle of a busy store? How do you read the labels and avoid the traps? That is our next, most practical lesson. Choosing the right bread is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned. It requires you to become a detective in the grocery aisle, but the clues are very simple to find once you know where to look. The most important rule is this: ignore the beautiful pictures and reassuring words on the front of the package. The words healthy, natural, multigrain can be misleading. The truth is always on the small label on the back, the ingredients list. Let us first identify the 4 types of bread that I advise my patients to leave on the shelf. These are the breads that can steal your energy and fuel that silent fire. 1. Simple white bread. As we have discussed, this acts like sugar in your body, offering very little nutrition and causing the energy crash. 2. The fake whole wheat or multigrain. This is the biggest trap. Turn the package over. If the very first ingredient listed is wheat flour or enriched bleached flour, you are holding a white bread in disguise. It is not what you want. 3. Bread with hidden sugars. A little sugar can be part of the baking process, but many packaged breads have sugar, or worse, high fructose corn syrup, as one of the main ingredients. If you see it listed in the first 3 or 4 ingredients, it is likely working against your health. 4. Sweet breads and pastries. Croissants, brioche, cinnamon rolls. These are delicious, of course, but we must be honest with ourselves. They are cakes, not bread for daily nourishment. They are for special, occasional treats. Now, for the good news. Here are the 4 breads you can buy with confidence. The breads that will give you strength, energy, and clarity. 1. True 100% whole grain bread. The label must be precise. The first ingredient must say 100 whole wheat flour or whole grain flour. This ensures you are getting all the fiber and nutrients from the grain, which slows down the sugar release and feeds your healthy gut bacteria. 2. True sourdough bread. As we discussed, the ingredients list should be the simplest of all: flour, water, and salt. Be cautious of sourdough-style breads that use vinegar for flavor and add commercial yeast. A real baker will be proud to tell you their bread is made the traditional, slow way. 3. Whole rye bread. In many parts of the world where people live long, healthy lives, rye is a staple. It is naturally higher in fiber and has been shown to have a much lower impact on blood sugar than wheat. It is a dense, deeply nourishing choice. 4. Sprouted and seeded breads. Sprouting grains before baking begins to unlock their nutrients, much like fermentation does. Breads made with sprouted grains can be easier to digest, and breads packed with seeds like flax, chia, and sunflower add healthy fats, fiber, and valuable minerals. Just ensure the base flour is still 100% whole grain. Making this choice is not about restriction. It is about respect. Respect for your body and for the wisdom of tradition. This choice does more than just give you physical energy. It has a profound connection to the most important part of your independence, the clarity of your mind. We have talked about energy for the body, about soothing the silent fire in our joints. But the final, and perhaps most important, reason to choose your bread with intention has to do with the house where we truly live, our mind. Science is confirming a wisdom that ancient traditions have always known. Your gut and your brain are in constant conversation. Think of it as a direct telephone line between the two. The health of your gut directly influences the clarity of your mind. The trillions of tiny organisms in your gut, your microbiome, are like a hidden chemical factory. When you feed them well with high-fiber foods, like true whole grain or sourdough bread, they produce compounds that calm your nervous system and help create the very neurotransmitters like serotonin that support a positive mood and clear thinking. But when the gut is inflamed, irritated by processed flours and sugars, it sends distress signals to the brain. This can contribute to that feeling of brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and even those frustrating moments of forgetfulness. That search for a word that is on the tip of your tongue, that feeling of being mentally a step behind. These are not inevitable parts of aging. They can be signs that the communication line between your gut and brain is being disrupted. Choosing the right bread, therefore, is not just a dietary choice. It is an act of profound self-preservation. It is about preserving the sharpness of your mind to manage your own life. It is about keeping your memory vibrant to share your stories with your grandchildren. It is about protecting the very foundation of your independence and your dignity. And for those of you watching for a parent or a loved one, please understand this. Helping them make this simple choice in the kitchen is one of the greatest gifts of protection you can give. It is a gift of continued clarity and connection. So, the 4 breads that rob your strength are the simple, fast ones. The fluffy white bread, the fake multigrain, the loaves loaded with sugar, and the sweet pastries. They offer a moment of pleasure for a long price of fatigue and inflammation. And the 4 that return your strength are the wise, slow ones. The true 100% whole grain, the ancient sourdough, the dense rye, and the living sprouted breads. They build a foundation of steady energy and mental peace. This knowledge is now yours. It is not meant to make you feel guilty about past choices. Not at all. It is meant to empower you for your future ones. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be intentional. Tomorrow morning, when you prepare your breakfast, you have a new choice. A choice to treat your body with the deep kindness and respect it has earned over a long and rich life. This is the path to aging with strength, with clarity, and with dignity. I would be honored to learn from your experience. What is one small, simple habit that brings you a sense of energy or peace in your day? Please share your wisdom in the comments below. Your story may be the spark of inspiration that another person needs to see today. Be well, stay wise,